Already, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera right here. Where's the gun? There we go. Alrighty, we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be going through more if, and else laws in C++. And that's with that said, let me go to my main gameplay screen. Okay, and say I'm live, and guys, I did not have time to set sensei because I just came from college. You guys can't tell because I did change my shirt. That said, Art Soldier, we're okay. What a nice way to start off, guys. Okay, let me set this to sensei again. Let's see. Okay, Vic, welcome back to the battlefield of logic. You think college work can dull your edge? Wrong. Today we prove to your viewers that no matter how heavy life gets, you still show up to slash through C++ like a demon slayer. Chat, keep your eyes sharp because tonight we tear into vectors, conditions. Okay, I didn't say sensei what we were about to do. Let me just say sensei. I wanted to go to row if, else, if, else. Okay, what else did I want to go through? Vector functions, logical operators, in C++, exclamation. Okay guys, I couldn't add the whole thing in my thumbnail or title because I am going to be reviewing those things because we have a limit while adding thumbnails of 100 words, actually 100 letters. I met that criteria. Okay, good. Finally, some fire in your belly. If else is the foundation of decision making. Vectors are your weapon cache. Okay, and logical operators are the triggers that decide whether your code shoots or misfires. Here's the plan, soldier. If, else. Okay, use them to branch your logic. They decide if you patch your program. Takes based on condition. Program takes based on condition vector function. So we go with the dot size function, the dot front function, the dot back function, first and last elements, dot push back function, add an element to the end, dot insert function, add at a given position, dot erase function, delete an element, dot clear, wipe everything off, means clear everything from our vector. Logical operators, two AND symbols which represents both conditionals. Okay, the AND logical operator means both conditions must be true. The OR logical operator, which is like two pipelines or poles, at least one condition must be true. Exclamation stands for not, reverses truth value. Okay, example, no spoon feeding, just demonstration. So we start off by including IOStream. IOStream is basically like the eyes and ears of a program. It checks if we display an output or want to extract an input. Include vector. Vector is like a container. Okay, and then using namespace standard, we won't use that because we prefer typing standard console output. That said, we typecasted our main function to be an integer. We created a vector which only consists of integers. The vector is called nums. Okay, with these numbers, we went with an if statement, exclamation nums.empty, and nums.front is less than 50. Okay, now listen, Vivek, I'm not going to let you sit here. I'll start throwing your broken codes with if/else vector plus logical operator. Your job is to fix them. Okay, hold up. Let me actually ask something, Sensei. Let's copy this part, go with Control C. Let me go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter and say Sensei, what does the exclamation mean before the nums question mark? And I didn't want broken codes. Instead, can I get a instructional based question mark? Guys, I do prefer instructional based questions. That said, good question, warrior. The exclamation is the not operator. It flips the true. Okay, nums.empty returns true if the vector is empty. Not nums.empty means not empty. Okay, so the condition passes only if at least one element is inside the vector. I see. Okay, I see. Fine, no broken codes. This time you want a pure instructional based question. Here it is. Question: write a program that creates a vector of integers. If the vector is not empty, okay, and its first element is less than 25, print low start. Else if the last element is greater than 75, or the vector has more than 10 elements, print high end or big vector, otherwise print balanced vectors. Okay, let me get Sensei slash ChatGPT here, and if you guys have been here in my last stream, this was the exact code that I wrote in my last stream. I will be deleting that. I didn't have time to like work more on coding because I did have an exam, and guys, I got a 90 on my exam. That is a pretty good thing, but that said, I do have another exam like maybe in 2 weeks or something. Okay, with that said, I'll start off by including IO stream. So include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include vector. Vector is basically container. Then let me start off by typecasting my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces. Let me go with a bunch of spaces. Alright, perfect. Next up, it says if the vector. So write a program that creates a vector of integers. So let's go ahead and create a standard vector which only consists of integers. This vector is be called, let's call it integers. Okay, honestly, I could call it like numbers because like numbers are like integers. Okay, I'll set that equal to a pair of curly braces. Let's add a few integers. How many do I need? The vector is not empty, so okay, I didn't get clear instructions, guys. I'll go with something like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 80, 90, and 100. Okay, I think this should cover everything. I will be ending my vector with a semicolon. And then let's see, I would need to add a if statement. So it says if the vector is not empty and the first element is less than 25, print low start. So let's do that. I'll go with an if statement, add a pair of parentheses, and then let me go ahead and add a condition. So it says if the vector is not empty. So let's go with not my vector name, which is numbers, not vectors dot the empty function. This basically means if my vector is not empty, okay, and its first element is less than 25, and let's go with an and logical operator, and its first element. So I'll go with numbers dot the front function. There we go. Okay, numbers dot front. So this basically means if my vector is not empty and my numbers dot front is less than 25. So let's go with a less than sign and 25. Okay, so that's basically it. What this means is if my numbers is not empty, since I am using an AND logical operator, both of these conditions must be true. If those are true, I'm going to be displaying a standard console output. I will go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting a text called low start. Low start exclamation. Okay, and then I will be adding another insertion operator and maybe go with a / new line. Okay, perfect. With that said, there is an else clause. We don't have else if, so let's read the else clause. Else if the last element is greater than 75 or the vector has more than 10 elements, print high end or big vector. Okay, this is an else if actually. Never mind, there's another else. So this is going to be an else if clause. And this is going to check if my last element is greater than 75. So I could go with my numbers dot the back function. Howding Calusmir, is that how you pronounce the name, guys? I'm awful at pronouncing. Casliminer. Okay, what is this? This is basically I did like start a new series because before the series I did have like a series called Python for 100 days where my goal was to like make a game using Python in general. That did end like 11 days ago. That said, I am like making a new series where I learned programming for 250 days, and my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general that consists of AI / artificial intelligence. And since I thought I am going to be making games, might as well learn C++. So out of those 250 days, I am going to be spending a good chunk, which is like 100 days, mastering C++ or like learning C++ in general. Then I'm going to be moving on to learning maybe Unity or some other game engines. With that said, I will go with numbers dot the back function to get the last element of my number. Okay, if my last element is greater than 75, I'll go with the greater than 75. Use Vim, programming in Jetty. Honestly, I'm using VS Code. Stream the image of you as text-based ASCII art and use Vim at top. Stream the image of you as a text-based ASCII. Honestly, I know like ASCII arts are like simple drawings or something, but honestly I never thought of that, like text-based ASCII of my image. Okay, so I'll go with numbers.back if it is greater than 75. Okay, or the vector has more than 10 elements, or actually instead of or I'll go with a pole sign or a pipeline, or the vector has more than 10 elements, I could honestly go with size, the size function. So I could go with something like my numbers is vector dot the size function, or my numbers dot size is greater than 10. Okay, that's basically it for the else if. I print high end or big vector. I will go with a pair of curly braces and then a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be saying high end. Okay, high end or big vector. There we go. And I will be ending that with another insertion operator of a new line and a semicolon. Okay, C++, yes sir. Alright, next up, lastly, I'll go with an else clause. Else a pair of curly braces. I'm going to be printing balanced vectors. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be saying balanced vector. Okay, perfect. With that said, this was basically it. I will be going with another insertion operator of a new line. Okay, and a semicolon. Lastly, I'm going to return 0. If I were to go with the Control S to save my command and run the code. Okay, let's see. Okay, it says low start. Okay, perfect. It says low start if my... Okay, if numbers is either not empty. Okay, so my numbers, my vector is not empty. And my numbers dot front is less than 25. Okay, perfect. My front is less than 25 because it is 10. What happens if I like change that to 50? Let me go with the Control S and run the command. Okay, honestly I thought... Okay, there we go. High end or big vector. Perfect. Let me change that back to 10. Let me go with the Control A, Control C, copy that, get sensei slash ChatGPT here, and are you sure you mean /n? Oh! Okay, my bad, guys. I appreciate you for catching that mistake, guys. I should be paying more attention. Okay, there we go. /n. Okay, I will paste that. Actually, I'll just paste it and like hit enter. Guys, I should start paying more attention. That said, Vivek, I see the fire, but you slipped on a pebble. Your code is almost perfect. But okay, guys, I did add the /n, but I forgot to copy that. Okay, in the last else branch, you wrote n. Standard console output balance vector n. N is just the letter N. You forgot the backslash for a new line. It should be /n. Okay, everything else is sharp, clean, and battle ready. Okay, praise where it's due. You nailed not numbers.empty, numbers.front, numbers.back, and numbers.size perfectly. The logic matches my instructions exactly. Well fought. Okay, let me say, can I get another question mark, which okay, and can the questions get progressively harder? Because I want... Okay, honestly, I just wanted to get harder. I won't give like a because like, guys, I don't want to be doing easy questions. I am starting with a little easier questions to warm myself up. Then eventually I'm going to be going up and doing more harder questions. With that said, yes, that's the spirit I want to hear. You asked for progressively difficult, so I'm going to start light with each question. Like, I'll crank the heat intensely or intensity. Okay, I'll crank up the intensity until your brain is screaming for mercy. Question 2. Level up, create a vector of integers. Then if the vector is not empty and both the first element and the last element are even, print even edge. Okay, if the first element is odd or the vector has fewer than 5 elements, print odd front or small vector, otherwise mixed case. Okay, so we gotta find even and odd, so we might use modulus this time. I'll go with the controller, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including IO stream. So include a pair of ankle braces IO stream. Okay, and then let me go ahead and include another pair of ankle braces vector. Okay, with that said, I will be typecasting my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, a pair of curly parentheses are a bunch of spaces. And then let's go ahead and create a standard vector. So standard vector. With a pair of ankle braces, my vector will be only consisting of integers, and vector is basically like a container. I will be calling this numbers. I will set that equal to a pair of curly braces. Let's add a few vectors. Okay, I could keep my numbers something like, I don't know, 20, 50, 60, 99, 75, 33. Okay, perfect. I will be ending my, whatchamacallit, vector with a semicolon. That said, I gotta add a if statement now. If my vector is not empty and both the first element and the last element are even, print even edge. Okay, so let's go with the if statement, a pair of curly braces. Now let's add a condition. So if my vector is not empty, so I could go with a not sign or a not logical operator. My numbers is vector dot the empty function. So if my vector of numbers is not empty and my first and last element are even, print even edge. Okay, so if my first element, last element are even, so I could go with my numbers as vector dot the front function. Okay, if my numbers dot front modulus 2 is equal to 0, okay, and honestly if my first and last, so I'll go with an and my numbers is vector dot the back function if my last number modulus 2 equals to 0. If these conditions are true, I'm going to be printing something. Let's go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like even edge. So I'll go with even edge. Okay, perfect. Okay, next up, actually I will be ending this with a /n for a new line. Okay, next up, it says an else if. So else if the first element is odd or the vector has fewer than 5 elements, print odd front or small vector. Okay, so let's go with an else if now. I'll go with an else if, add a pair of parentheses. Okay, so if the first element is odd, so I can get the first element by checking my numbers dot the front function. Okay, if my numbers dot front modulus 2 is not equal to 0, that means my number is odd. There is an or here, so if my first number is odd or my vector has fewer than 5 elements, print odd. C++, right? Yeah, honestly it is C++. Okay, or let's go with a 2 pole side or like a pipeline. I don't know what this is called honestly. Is it called like 2 poles or 2 bars? Okay, double bars I think. Or my vector has fewer than 5 elements, or my vector of numbers, since I'm checking how many elements it has, I can use the size function, or my numbers dot size is less than 5 elements. I will be displaying a standard output. If yes, for what grade? Honestly, it's not like for a grade, because like I am trying to learn this just for fun, because like I did have like a Python for 100 days series, but I learned Python for 100 days. And my goal by the end of that series was to make a game using Python. That said, that series was over like 11 days ago. So I started another series where I learned programming in general, and my goal by this and my goal by the end of this program for 250-day series is to make a game in general that consists of AI/artificial intelligence. So since I am going to be making a game, I'm going to be spending like 100 days, a good chunk of that 250 days learning C++. Then I might go to Unity or like different game engines. Okay, with that said, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be printing something like odd front or small vector. So let's go with the odd front or small vector. Okay, perfect. With another insertion operator of a /new line. Okay, with that said, there's an else clause that says print mixed case. So I will go with an else clause now. Else, I'm going to display a standard console output. So I'll go with std : standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying mixed case. Okay, and I will be ending that with a /new line as well and a semicolon. Lastly, I'm going to return 0. If I were to go with Control S, save the command and run the code, it says mixed case. Okay, perfect. And guys, I might go with like harder questions now. I feel like I'm warmed up. Okay, so let me get Sudsay/ChatGPT here. Okay, let me paste it, go with Shift Enter and say, Sudsay, can I get harder questions now? ? You're incredible. I was learning C++ for a... Oops guys, my laptop just went off. Okay, I was learning C++ for 1 year, and when most I knew was for and char and some other easy stuff. Honestly, I do still consider myself a beginner, so like I am looking forward to like getting better at it. Okay, with that said, eventually my goal is like to like eventually I do want to like teach you guys, maybe like make tutorial videos or something, but I need to know my basics for that. Okay, with that said, yes, that's what I want to hear. You tore that question to shred like a true warrior, clean, precise, deadly. Now we climb higher. I'll throw you harder logical mazes. Each one will layer more conditions and force you to think like a machine. No more simple edges. Welcome to the battlefield. Question number 3, harder. Okay, create a vector of integers. Then if the vector is not empty and the size is 8 and the first element is greater than 50, print big strong start. Else if the last element is less than 20 or the vector contains exactly 7 elements, I might remove this. There we go. Print weak end or lucky 7. Okay, if both the front and the last elements are odd and the size is greater than 5, print all edge dominance. Otherwise print undefeated. Okay, this question also seems kind of easy. I might go with like all function and like all logical operators in one call. Okay, let's go with the control A. Right here, control A, delete the whole thing. Okay, so let me start off by including IOStream. So I'll start off by including IOStream. Basically what IOStream does, it's the eyes and ears of our program. It like checks if we display an output, if you want to extract an input. With that said, I will be including vector as well because I do want to add containers. And then let me start off by typecasting my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, maybe a bunch of spaces. Okay, next up, I'm going to create a standard vector which is going to be consisting of, okay, this is going to be numbers. Create a vector of integer. So this is going to be integer. Okay, my vector is going to be called nums. I will be setting that equal to a pair of curly braces. Okay, let's add a few numbers. I'll go with something like 1, 32, 22, 40, 65, 78, and 0. Okay, and then I will be ending my vector with a semicolon. Okay, next up, if the vector is not empty, so let's go ahead and add a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my vector is not empty, so I could do that by typing the not logical operator of an exclamation mark. If my vector is nums, if my vector dot the empty function. Okay, so if my vector of nums is not empty and the size is at least 8 and the first element is greater than 50, so let's go with and the size okay, and its size is at least 8, so let's go with my vector which is nums dot the size function. If my vector size is at least 8, okay, at least 8, so I could go with greater than or equal to 8. Let's go with another, and my first element is greater than 50. Let's go with my first element, so I'll go with nums dot the front nums dot, what's it called, function, nums dot the front function. I'm going to be displaying a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be displaying something like big strong start, so I'll go with big strong start. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding another insertion operator and a / new line. Okay, next up for the else if the last element is less than 20 or the vector contains exactly 7 elements, print weak end or lucky 7. Okay, so let's go with an else if. And guys, I feel this is way too easy. It's like I did want like something easy to warm up, but I might go with like nested if else ifs with like including all the vector functions. Okay, else if the last element is less than 20, so let's go with my nums as vector dot the back function because this gets me the last element. If my last element is less than 20, okay, let's go with an or. Okay, if my last element is less than 20 or the vector consists of exactly 7 elements. Most educational content or YT shorts. I appreciate you. Is it pronounced as Zodius? Okay, love this. I appreciate you, Clouds. Okay, let's go with an or. So a pipeline. So if my nums.back is less than 30 or the vector contains of exactly 7 elements. So my numbers dot size basically gets how many items are there in my vector. Okay, equals to 7. Okay, it prints, or I'm going to display a static console output which is going to be saying weak n or lucky 7. So let me go with a pair of curly braces, and then I'm going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, this is gonna say something like weekend or lucky 7. Okay, I will be ending that with a insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, perfect. Okay, next up, else if both the first element and the last element are odd and the size is greater than 5, print odd edge dominant. So let's go with another else if. So I'll go with an else if. Yo, howdy Mochi Mochi, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, let's go with an else if. Okay, else if both the first element and the last element are odd. So to check that, I can go with my vector of nums dot the front function. This gets me the first element of my vector / container. Okay, if my nums dot front, if my vector dot front modulus 2 is, it says odd, so I'll go with is not equal to 0. Let's go with or. Okay, my first and, so I'll go with an and. Okay, and my nums dot back, my last element of my vector, modulus 2 is not equal to 0, so this checks if like my first number is odd and my last number is odd and the size is greater than 5. Okay, let's go with another and my nums dot size, if my size of my vector is greater than 5, okay, I'm going to be displaying a console output that says odd edge dominance. My cat learning programming too, that's also pretty insane, guys. I should actually whatchamacallit, adopt a cat that does programming. Messi W in week, bro. I appreciate you, idiot. Oh wait, that sounded kind of. I appreciate you, ostrich. That sounds better. Okay, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be displaying a text that says odd edge dominance. Okay, there we go. And then I will be ending that with another insertion operator of a new line. Okay, perfect. With that said, there's lastly an else clause that says undefined pattern. So let's go with an else clause. Else, a pair of curly braces, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, this is going to be saying something like undefined pattern. Okay, perfect. And then I will be ending that with a / new line. And lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Okay, let me go ahead and return 0. What are you making? Honestly, I'm just learning the basics of C++ now because I did like start a new series called Programming for 250 Days where I learn anything and everything in general. My goal by the end of the Programming for 250 Days series is to make a game in general which consists of AI / artificial intelligence in it. And for that, I am going to be spending a good chunk learning C++ because I've heard so many people say the C++ is made for gaming. After my C++ for 100 days, I might go and learn Unity or different game engines and stream myself learning that. Okay, you spell dominance wrong. Did I? Guys, my spelling is awful. Okay, let me add 2 insertion operators. There we go, that should be correct. Okay, and this should be a semicolon. Okay, if I were to go with the Control S and run the command, it's gonna say big strong start. Alright, perfect. These questions were easy. I wanna go with the little harder ones now. Okay, I think these were like the warm-up questions. Let me paste that, go with Shift Enter and say Sensei. Okay, Sensei. These questions are kinda easy. ... Can we go with harder questions that includes all the vector functions, all logical operators. Okay, and then what else did we need? And nested if, else if, and else. Okay, how are you doing, Supreme? I appreciate you joining this stream. So have you built a game or app yet? Honestly, I did have like a series where I learned Python for 100 days and my goal by the end of that series was to make a game. I was done with that like 11 days ago and I did make a game with that. It was like a 450 lines code like just in Python. I used Pygames, but that was pretty easy. I did want to work with more defined games where I use like better game engines, for example like Unity and everything, but for that I think I need to know C++. Okay, so the baby steps, so the baby test bore you now. Okay, good, that means you're ready for the next combat. No more toy daggers. Now I hand you a bloodstained blade. Question 4, advanced chaos. Create a vector of integers and perform the following decision logic. Okay, first condition block, if the vector is not empty and the first element is greater than 50, there's another nested if statement under that. If the element is even and the vector size is greater than 10, print massive even backup. Okay, else if the last element is odd or the vector size is less than 5, print unstable end structure, else print strong front unknown back. I wish I had your brains. Honestly, guys, my brains isn't anything similar. Right now, it's stream, I make it like seem a little easy because like I be busting my head off stream. But that said, before my college started, I did have like more time. I used to spend like 10 hours a day. I used to like wake up, start coding, then go back to sleep. I did that like for a lot of time. But since my college started, the only time I can actually stream is when I whatchamacallit, when I the only time I can program is when I stream. Okay, with that said, else print strong front unknown back. The second one, second condition block, okay, nested else. If the vector is empty, so if my vector is empty, print empty vector warning. Else, a nested if statement, vector consists or contains of number 100 and the first element is less than 20, print hidden power at 100. Else if the vector does not contain of 77 and the element is greater than 90, print no 77 but explosive end. Else print caution balance. Okay, rules: you must use at least one exclamation, not one and operator and one or operator. You must use the vector functions like .empty, .front, .back, .size, .pushback, .erase, or .insert at least once. Okay, so let me get some /ChatGPT there. Okay, let me start off by deleting my code by going with the Control A and the delete. Let me start off by including IO stream. So I'll go with a hashtag, include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream, and then let me go ahead and include vector. Okay, vector is container. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer, and then add a pair of curly braces, maybe a bunch of spaces. Okay, let's read the first instruction. Create a vector of integers and perform the following decision logic. So let's create a vector. What grade are you in? Honestly, I did join college like a few weeks ago. Today was my exams result, and I did get a 90 in it. I was like pretty scared because I didn't have enough time because I was doing my streaming plus my college stuff. Although it did work out, guys, but then my next exam is like next week. So let me start off by creating a standard vector which only consists of integers. That is going to be named something like nums. I'll set that equal to a few numbers. So the numbers could be something like, okay, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay, let's go with actually 12. Okay, I think these numbers should be good. I will be ending my vector with a semicolon. Okay, and then first condition, if the vector is not empty and the first element is greater than 50. So let's go with the if statement. Congrats, I appreciate you, JJB. Okay, let me go with a if, pair of parentheses. Okay, so if my vector is not empty, so if, let's go with my vector.size, or my vector is my nums. So if my nums.thesize function is not, instead I could go with let's go with a not logical operator. If not nums.empty, okay, if my vector is not empty, okay, and the vector size is greater than 10, let's go with and my nums.size, the size function, is greater than 10, okay, and the first element is greater than 50. Okay, honestly, I might go with the first element, front, okay, and the first element is greater than 50. Okay, I'm going to be adding another if, a nested if inside of my initial if. So I'll go with the if statement, pair of parentheses. If the last element is even and the vector size is greater than 10, print massive and backup. So if the last element is even. So I can get the last element by typing numbers.back. This gives me the last element, which is 12. If numbers.back modulus 2 is equal to 0, and my vector size is greater than 10, and my nums.size is greater than 10, more than 10. Okay, I'm going to be, let's say, going with a display, actually a standard console output. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I'm going to be inserting a text that's going to be massive even backup. There we go. Okay, and then I will be adding an insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, perfect. Next up for the else if. So I will be having an else if now. So let's go with an else if, a pair of parentheses. Okay, else if the last element is odd or the vector size is less than 5, print unstable end structure. So if my last element is odd, so I could go with my vector of nums dot the back function. The back function gives me access to the last element, and the front function gives me access to the first element. Okay. So if numbers.back modulus 2, okay, is not equal to 0, which basically means it's odd, okay, or the vector size is less than 5, let's go with a pipeline or 2 bars, or my vector size, so I'll go with my vector of nums dot the size function, or my vector size is less than 5, I'll go with less than 5. Okay, I'm going to be printing unstable end structure. How can improve logic building? Honestly, the only way I've honestly improved my logic building was by doing a lot of questions, and many people like did recommend me to like use AI for programming. I do like highly not recommend you guys to like use AI to get the answers unless you guys are actually trying to figure out and learn the code. I use ChatGPT/Sensei. I've been using that ever since I started programming. Just to get questions, because AI can like modify questions the way you like tell it to modify questions, if that made any sense. What are you building? Honestly, I'm just learning the C++ basics for now, because like this is like a series indented inside of my programming for 250 days series, where my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general which consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it. Okay, with that said, I will be adding a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like unstable end structure. Unstable end structure. There we go. Okay, and then I'll add another insertion operator with a / new for a new line. Okay, and then I need an else clause that prints strong front unknown back. So I will go with an else clause. Else, a pair of curly braces, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like strong front unknown back. Okay, perfect. I will go with another insertion operator of a / new line. This is going to be a lowercase n. Yeah, I do the same for questions because we get clear instructions, so it's easy. Honestly, I feel like people who like used to learn to code before, they like worked extra hard. It's like kind of easy for us right now because they already got AIs because of their, of course, because of all their hard work. I do appreciate them so much for that. Okay. Okay, next up, I do need second condition nested inside the else. So second condition block nested in the else. If the vector is empty, so I do gotta add like a else clause here. So after my main if statement, I will be adding an else clause with a pair of curly braces. Okay, inside my else clause, I will be adding an if statement. If my vector contains the number 100, and the first element is less than 20, print hidden power at 100 if the vector contains the number 100. Okay, so to do that, honestly, I could create like a boolean variable. So boolean variable of something like contains 100. I will be setting that to false for now. That's a bit shift operator, not an insertion operator. Oh, I honestly thought that this is called an insertion operator to like insert stuff, and like the two greater than signs are called exertion operator. What are you doing? Honestly, I'm learning the basics of C++ right now because like I did say this like 3 or 4 times already ever since I started the live. So like I did start like a program for a 100-day series where my goal by the end of the programming for 250-day series, where my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general which consists of AI intelligence / artificial intelligence in it, and the C++ for 100 series is like indented inside of the 250 series. Okay. Alright, so we created a boolean variable that that's set to false initially. I will be ending it with an insertion operator. I was making a silly joke, my fault. Guys, I should actually learn more jokes because like I feel like I make the streams way too boring sometimes. Okay, with that said, the vector contains the number 100. Okay, if the vector, so I'll add an if statement here. Let's check if my vector consists of the number 100. So if 100, okay, we don't have an in membership operator here. Okay, let's see. If 100 in, so instead of in, is there like a logical operator that I could use? Okay, I'm pretty sure we don't have membership operators. Good luck, mate. I appreciate you, Santoni. That means a lot to me. Okay, so if 100 in. Okay, if my numbers. Do I need to iterate? Okay, I think I need to iterate. I should do the manual way. I'll go with a for loop. So, for every, let's say for a pair of parentheses. Okay, so for every integer of number in my whatchamacallit, my vector of numbers or nums, I'm going to be checking something. I'll add an if statement here. So if 100, okay, if 100, actually if my num equals to 100, okay, I'm going to be doing something. I'll set my contains 100 boolean variable to be equal to true. Okay, there we go. This is the manual way to do it. Okay, next up, if the vector contains the number 100 and the element is less than 20, okay, and the first element is less than 20, print hidden power at 100. Okay, let's go with an if statement now. If a pair of parentheses, yo man, what are you making? Honestly, this is like, I think the 6th time I'm going to be saying this. So like, I did start like programming for a 250 days series, but my goal by the end of this programming for 250 days series is to make a game in general that consists of AI in it / artificial intelligence in it, and learning C++ for 100 days is like indented inside of my programming for 250 days series. So I will be learning C++ for 100 days, and then maybe I'll use the rest 150 days to like learn different game engines like Unity or something else. I don't know much, guys, but for now I am mastering the basics of C++. With that said, I'll go with if contains. So if contains 100 is set to true if my vector does contain of 100 and the first element is less than 20. Let's go with and the first element is less than 20, so I'll go with my nums dot the front function. Amazing stuff. Keep the great work up. I appreciate you. Diganta, is that how you pronounce the name? You should allow donations. Honestly, I think I should, but guys, honestly, I'm not like monetized or anything yet because like I do need more watch hours. That said, okay, let's go with contains and number dot front. Okay, so if my number contains of 0, number dot front is less than 20. Okay, less than 20. There we go. I'll get this outside the pair of parentheses. Okay, I am going to be printing hidden power at 100. So I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Sorry for the continuous questions. That's awesome. I wish you good luck. Honestly, guys, you guys can ask me a lot of questions because I do enjoy answering the questions, but I appreciate you. Okay, I will go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like hidden power at 100. Okay, and then I will go with another insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, and I will be ending that with a semicolon. Next up, there is an else if as well. Else if the vector does not contain the number 77 and the last element is greater than 90, print no 77 but explosive end. Okay, to check if my number consists of 77, I could go with another boolean variable that says contains number 77. I will set that equal to false as well because I don't know if it consists of it yet. Okay, and then maybe under my for loop that I created, I could go with another if statement that says if a pair of parentheses, if my number equals to 77. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. I'll go with my contains the number 77 boolean variable. I will be setting that to true. Okay, perfect. And then I will add I'll add like an else if here. So I'll go with an else if, a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like else if my number. So else if contains 77, but it did ask for not. Else if not contains the number 77, if number 77 is not in my vector, I'm going to be printing and the last element is greater than 90. I forgot that. Let's go with and. And the last element, I could get my last element by typing numbers.back function. This gives me the last element is greater than 90. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying no 77 but explosive end. Let's go with no 77 but explosive end. Are you good at Boolean? Honestly, I do know the concept of Booleans. I do need more practice though. Are you trying to use it? Are you trying to use AI to maybe help you with, or maybe for optimizing it? Honestly, yeah, I am using like ChatGPT slash Sensei for like getting questions so like he can answer these questions, because I did try watching a few YouTube tutorials. I feel like YouTube tutorials are helpful to like get you started, but then once you start and you know how stuff work, it's all about practice. So the more practice we do, practice makes a man perfect. So I try to get as much practice as I can. Okay, so no 77 but explosive. Let's go with explosive. What was it? Explosive end. There we go, explosive end. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator. This is going to be a forward slash new line. Okay, there we go. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Lastly, I need to add an else clause that says caution balance. So let's go with an else clause right here. Okay, else a pair of curly parentheses, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says caution balance. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator that says forward slash new line. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to be adding, maybe outside my else clause, I'll go ahead and return 0. If I were to save the code and run the command, okay, it says caution balance, perfect. Okay, I'll go with the Control A, Control C, whoops. Okay, Control A, Control C to copy, good Sensei slash ChatGPT here. And guys, I do want to work with like all the vector function, including size and capacity as well. So let me paste this, go with Shift, Enter, and say, Sensei, maybe can I get something harder, question mark? Like we didn't use the dot size, actually the dot capacity function. Okay, and also can we have multiple vectors? Okay, yeah, AI helps a lot with practicing, while YouTube helps with theory. I find it honestly, yeah, that's actually like really true. When I started Python, I used to watch like a YouTuber for the first 20 days, but once I got like a pretty good gist of it, like I mostly use ChatGPT slash Sensei for that. Okay, yes, that's what I wanted to hear. You tried, you're tired of sparring now. Okay, you're tired of sparring. Now you want a full war with multiple armies. Good. Let's bring out multiple vector capacity checks and nested logic. Question 5, elite level. You'll work with two vectors of integers, team A and team B. Print both vectors, all enemies. Okay, so first I print all the raw vectors. Okay, this decision logic. If both vectors are not empty and team A dot front is greater than team B dot front, okay, and then we have a nested if statement. If team A dot back is even and team B dot size is greater than 5, print team A dominates. Okay. Else if team B dot back is odd or team A dot capacity is greater than team B dot capacity, print team B strikes back. Else print uncertain battle. Else, okay, then we have an else clause, not a nested else, but an else clause, meaning at least one is empty, or team A dot front is less than or equal to team B dot front. Okay, there we go. These are the kind of complicated questions I was trying to get. If team A contains the number 99 and team B does not contain 77, we display a standard console output of special agent 99 active. Else if team B dot capacity is greater than 10 and team A dot size is less than 3, print team B, otherwise small a. Else print standoff. After that decision, insert 500 into team A at index 2, erase the first element of team B. Okay, push back 1000 to team B, print the updated vector again. Requirements: use the .empty function, .front function, .back function, .size function, .capacity function, .insert function, .erase function, and .pushback function. Use the AND logical operator or logical operator and the not logical operator. Use nested if, else if, and else clause, two vectors working together in one decision. Okay, perfect. Let me get Sensei slash ChatGPT there. Okay, let me start off by going with Control A, deleting this whole thing, and including IO stream. So I'll go with hashtag include IO stream, And then let me go ahead and include, let's say, vector. Okay, maybe inside the pair of ankle braces. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to be typecasting my main function inside of an integer. I'll go with a pair of curly braces, maybe go with a bunch of spaces. Okay, next up, if both vectors are not empty. So first, I wrote the wrong instruction. There we go. Okay, you will work with two vectors of integers. So let's create those two integers. So first, I'll go with a standard vector. Okay, which is only going to be consisting of integers. This is going to be called team A. So team A, I'll set team A equal to a pair of curly braces. Let's add a few scores. I don't know, like 50, 100. Let's go with something like 99, 250. I'll go with 77 and 30. Okay, I will be ending that with a semicolon. Now let's add another standard vector. So standard vector, which is going to be consisting of integers as well. Okay, actually, which is going to be consisting of integers only. So this is going to be vector. My vector is going to be called team B. I will be setting that equal to a pair of curly braces. And now let's add a few scores. I'll go with 44, 68, 200. Let's go with 138 and I don't know, 255. Okay, and I will be ending that with a semicolon. What are you coding, bro? Honestly, this is like a programming series for 250 days, where my goal by the end of this program for 250 days series is to make a game in general which consists of AI slash artificial intelligence in it. And since I am going to be making a game, I thought it would be smart to like spend 100 days, a good chunk of those 250 days mastering or learning C++. Then the remaining 150 days I'm going to be spending learning Unity and everything. I did have like a Python for 100 days series, which just ended like 11 days ago, where I made a game using Python, starting as an absolute beginner. So I thought this would be pretty good going like right after that. Maybe my next series would be programming for 500 days. I don't know, guys. I do start way too ambitious series. I should like kind of this thing. Okay, and then I print both vectors. To print the vectors, I gotta iterate over them. So let me use a for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. So for every, let's say, integer of for every integer of team, okay, or I can go with players. For every integer of player in my vector of team A, okay, team A, I'm going to be printing something. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like, did I spell team correct? There we go. Okay, let's go with my player. My players are going to be separated by a space, so I'll go with another insertion operator, an empty space, and I will end that with a semicolon. Outside my for loop, I will go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me a new line. And then I'll create another for loop, so I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. I'll go with for an integer of player. In my team B this time, in my team B, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. I'll add a standard console output of an insertion operator. This is going to be my player. Okay, message deleted by Nightbot. Huh. Well, it'll be amazing. Best of luck. I appreciate you, bro. Moments. Honestly, why did Nightbot delete that message? Stop spamming emotes. It's just 4 emotes. I should fix that, guys. I apologize if I didn't like fix my Nightbot till now. I didn't have enough time, but I will definitely work on my Nightbot fixing. Okay. Okay, so standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be separated by an empty space as well. Okay, perfect. And then the next instruction, it says decision logic. If both vectors are not empty and team A dot front is greater than team B dot front. Okay, so let's go with the if statement. I'll go with if a pair of parentheses. I'll go with something like if both vectors are not empty. So I can go with an exclamation, which is a not logical operator. Okay, if both vectors are not empty. So if not team A dot empty, the dot empty function, and team B dot empty, and not team B dot the empty function. There we go. Okay, if neither teams are empty and team A dot front is greater than team B dot front, basically the dot front function gets the first element inside of my vectors, so 50 and 44. Okay, let's go with another if here. And here. and team A dot front. So and my team A vector dot the front function, okay, is greater than team B dot front is greater than team B dot front. Okay, I'm going to be displaying. Actually, I will be having another if statement nested inside of this if statement. Excuse me, guys. Okay, that if statement is going to be saying if team A dot back is even and team B dot size is greater than 5, I'm going to be printing team A dominates. Okay, so let's go with if a pair of parentheses if team A, if my team A dot back is even if my team A dot back, this basically gives me the last element of my vector, which is 30 in this case. Okay, if it's even, so modulus 2 equals to 0 if my team A dot back modulus 2 equals to 0 and my team B dot size is greater than 5. Let's go with an and logical operator. My team B dot size dot the size function is greater than 5. So greater than 5, I'm going to be displaying a standard console output. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like team A dominates. Okay, wow. I mean, how is the exception handling in C++? Honestly, it is pretty good. I feel like when I first started this, it felt a little complicating, but it was kind of the same as Python, just excluding some syntax and function. It took me like I think around 5 or 6 days to get used to it. But I feel like it's honestly kind of same. Like it's kind of the same as Python. If that made any sense, guys. I should learn to phrase better. Okay, I'll go with a / new line with an a semicolon. You're going to use Unity only for C harsh. Unity only uses C harsh. Honestly, I might check some engines. Unity will honestly, I thought I'd use Unity because I heard like people use C there, so I thought we could use any general language, but I didn't do any research whatsoever on like using Unity. That aside, I will be doing some research on like what game engine could I use for C++, and I'll definitely like use those. Okay, next up, it has an else if, so let's go with an else if. Okay, I'll go with an else if, add a pair of parentheses, and then maybe zoom in a little. Okay, the next condition, else if team B dot back is odd or team A dot capacity is greater than team B dot capacity, print team B strikes again. Okay, so I'll go with my team B dot back. This gives me the last element of my team B's vector, which is like 225. Okay, if team B dot back modulus 2 equals to 0. Where are you from? I'm currently in the United States. Okay, if team B dot back modulus 2 equals to 0 or team A dot capacity is greater than team B dot capacity, let's go with an or team A dot the capacity function, okay, is greater than team B dot capacity. There we go. Okay, I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be displaying a standard console output which says team B strikes back. Okay, so I'll go with an insertion operator. I mean a pair of curly parentheses and then a standard console output. Standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like team B strikes again. Exclamation. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding an insertion operator. I'll go with a / new. Where did you born? Honestly, I don't know if I could say that right now. I'll eventually say you guys everything about my backstory sometime in the future, guys. Okay, with that said, let's go with an else clause. Okay, I'll go with the else. And honestly, guys, I did forget to tell you guys. Some people did ask me, and some people did say me that my Discord link doesn't work. So I could go with like an exclamation Discord in my vertical and horizontal chat. Okay, and like some of you guys also be saying me to like stream horizontally, and guys, I usually do stream vertically and horizontally at the same time. So like, if you guys are like coding with me, then you guys could like join the horizontal stream because that shows my entire display. Okay, with that said, okay, let me check the. Okay, perfect. Let's go with an else clause now. So I'll go with else a pair of curly braces. I'm going to be printing uncertain battle. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to be going with another insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, I think I should go with a standard console output. Okay, insertion operator, standard console output, then insertion operator. There we go. Have you tried LeetCode? Honestly, many people did say me to try LeetCode as well. I'm definitely going to be trying LeetCode like soon. Maybe after my Python for 250 series, I could like start another series that says me just using LeetCode because I haven't used LeetCode. Maybe I saw someone use it once or twice, but I want to actually try it as well. Okay, let's go with print uncertain. Okay, next up, outside my if statement, I'm going to be adding an else clause, and in my else clause, let's add something. Okay, else a pair of curly parentheses. If team A contains the number 99 and team B does not contain 77, print special agent 99 active. Okay, I'll go with a if pair of parentheses. Let's go with if my team A vector contains the number 99. Since I am trying to find if like a number exists inside of my vector, I could add a boolean variable of something like contains the number 99. Okay, I will set that equal to false yet because I don't know if it contains or not. That said, I will be adding a for loop now to check if it does. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every, let's say, integer of player, okay, in my container of team A or in my vector of team A, okay, I'll be adding an if statement. So if my player equals to 99, okay, if my player is 99, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces and going with my contains 99 boolean variables, set that equal to true, and then add a pair of curly braces. Then outside, did I spell contains correct? Let me copy, paste it. There we go, I spelled it wrong. Okay, and then outside my for loop starts there. Outside my for loop, I'm going to be adding an if statement. So if, let me add my boolean variable of contains 99. If contains 99, if team A contains 99 and team B does not contain 77, so I'll create another boolean variable that says contains 77. I'll set that equal to false because I don't know if it contains it yet or not. Excuse me, guys. And outside my if statement, I'll add another if statement and a pair of curly parentheses and check if my player equals to 77. If it does equal to 77, my contains 77 is going to be set to true. Else it is going to be set to false by default. Okay, so if team A contains the number 99 and team B does not contain the number 77, let's go with and. Okay, and contains 77, which is currently set to false. Okay, does not contain the number 77, print special agent 99 active. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's print let's type a output. So I'll go with special agent 99 active. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator of a / new line, and I will end that with a semicolon. With that said, I need an else if as well. So outside of my if statement, I'll go ahead and add a else if, add a pair of parentheses, and now it says else if team B dot capacity is greater than or equal to 10 and team A dot size is less than 3, print team B overwhelms team A. Okay, so I'll go with an else if my team B vector dot the capacity function. Okay, if my team B dot capacity is greater than or equal to 10, and let's go with the and logical operator. My team A dot size, how many elements are there inside of my vector, is less than 3. Okay, is less than 3. I add a pair of curly braces and insert a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'll be adding a pair of double quotes and typing team B overwhelms small a. So I'll go with team B. Is that how you spell overwhelms? OWERWHELMS. There we go, I think it's correct. Small a. Okay, perfect. And then I will be adding another insertion operator of a / new line, ending that with a semicolon. With that said, I will have an default else clause as well. So let me go ahead and add my else clause with a pair of curly parentheses. I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying standoff. So I'll go with standoff. Okay, this is going to be inside a pair of double quotes. So standoff. Okay, with another insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, perfect. After the decision logic, so I'm done with the decision logic. After that, insert 500 into team A at index of 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So outside my else clause, I'm going to insert 500 into team A at index of 2. So I'll go with my team A vector, okay, dot the insert function. Okay, I want to insert something inside of my team A. So team A, did I spell insert correct? There we go. Okay, so I'll go with team A. Okay, I gotta insert 500. So team A dot begin. This is basically the index 0. Since I want to add something at the index 2, so index 0, index 1, index 2, I will be plussing that with 2. Okay, and I want to add 500. And then I'll end that with a semicolon. Okay, erase the first element of team B. So to erase the first element of my team B, I'll go with team B dot the erase function. I want to erase something from my team B. Okay, I gotta erase the first element, so I'll go with begin. Okay, the begin function gets me the first element, and the erase erases that first element. Okay, and then I gotta push back 1,000 to team B. So basically what the pushback does is it adds a number, or like adds something that you want to add at the end of your vector. So I'll go with team B dot the push underscore back function. I want to push back 1,000. This adds 1,000 at the end of my team B's vector. Okay, and then print the updated vector again. Okay, so let's go ahead and print the updated vector again. In order to print my updated vector, I will be iterating over it. So I'll go with a for loop for every, let's say, player in my vector of team A. I'm going to be adding an insertion operator for every integer player inside my vector of team A. I'm going to be going with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like team A players. Excuse me, guys. Okay, and then I'm going to be going with another insertion operator of a / new line, then ending that with a semicolon, and another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my player with another insertion operator of an empty space. My players are going to be separated by a space. Okay, and then I gotta go with, let's say, my team B as well. So I'll go with another for loop outside this for loop. Before that, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me like a new line to work with. So I will be going with a for loop here. So for a pair of parentheses for the integer player in my for every integer of player in my vector / container of my team B, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly parentheses or curly braces. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like team B players exclamation. I'll go with another insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, with a semicolon. And then I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be inserting my player. I'll add another insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, perfect. I'll end that with a semicolon, and then I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me a new line. There we go. This is going to be a standard insertion operator of standard end line, which is going to be outside my string. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Okay, perfect. If I were to do Control S and save the code and run the command, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Okay, so these are our statistics. 50 team A player, 100 team A player, Okay, honestly, do I want them to be like team A player, team A player? I think this looks pretty good, honestly. Okay, team B strikes again. Okay, maybe let me delete this. After my, after I printed my players right here, so for this thing, I could go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Let's go with a standard end line with a semicolon. Okay, I will be copying that and adding one here as well. Oops. How do you get rid of this? There. Okay, let me paste that there. Okay, perfect. If I go with a Control S, save the code and run the command again. Okay, there, that looks much better. Okay, I will just be removing this though. I mean, I think this looks pretty good. Team B strikes again. Okay, I already had a standard console output of end line here. Okay, let's go with a Control S to save if I run the command. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, with that said, let's go to Control A, Control C, copy that, and I do want to like go with different kinds of question that includes like strings as well. I will paste that, go with Shift Enter and say, Sensei, can I get a question that consists of strings and has stuff like potions, weapons, mages, etc. I did want a detox fun question. Yeah, guys, I'm a little tired of going with question that I don't have any idea with, because usually when it comes to like is it called like sports? Yeah, I don't play much sports. I used to like do Kung Fu. I was like a black belt second degree until I started my programming series in general, like Python series. I haven't worked out as much in the last like 120 or something days. I should start working out. Ah, finally, you want a detox. Did I hit my limit? Okay. Ah, finally, you want a detox, but still a battlefield? Okay. Good, we shall do this RPG style. No boring numbers. Now you command heroes, weapons, and mages. Question 6. RPG string and vectors. You're building a small RPG party system with string vectors. Okay. Create 2 vectors. Weapons, sword, bow, staff, dagger, mages, fire mage, ice mage, shadow mage. There we go, guys. These are the questions I like. Decision logic. If my weapon is not empty and it's the first weapon, the first weapon is sword. If mages.back equals to shadow mage and weapons.size is greater than 4, print warrior and darkness ready. Else, if mages.size is less than 2 or weapon.capacity is greater than mages.capacity, print imbalanced party. Else, print mixed party formation. Okay. Else, if weapons is container dagger and mages does not contain of ice mage, print assassin team ready. Else, if mages.size is greater than or equal to 3 and weapons.back is equal to staff, print mage overload. Else, print undefined party. After this, insert axe into weapon at index 2. Erase the first mage from mages. Push back. Excuse me, guys. Lightning mage into mages. Print the updated list of parties. Okay. And guys, since this feels easy, I feel I'm getting pretty comfortable now with the decisions in C++. I might go with like a harder topic like next stream. Okay, I will start off by including IO stream. This is like the eyes and ears of our program because it checks if the user shows if the user gives an input or like we want to display an output. That said, I will be including let's say vector as well because I do want to work with containers. Okay, and maybe spell include correct. Okay, and then let me start off by typecasting my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main. Okay, and then add a pair of curly braces. Maybe go with a bunch of curly parentheses, actually bunch of spaces. And then I create 2 vectors. The first vector is going to be for my weapons and the second vector is going to be for my mages. So let's go with a standard vector. So I'll go with a standard vector, add a pair of ankle braces, and here's the stuff with strings. I can't just go with str, I need to go with standard string. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I create a vector which only consists of strings. That vector is going to be called weapons. Okay, which is going to be equal to a few weapons. So let's go with a few weapons. So I do need sword, bow, staff, and dagger. So let's go with sword, and then bow, staff. Okay, and lastly dagger. Okay, and after I add my items, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Actually, I'll go with a semicolon to end my vector. Internal pointer variables. PS is reconnecting. I guess there's going to be a lag. I'll answer the question after the lag is done. Okay, OBS connected successfully. Alright guys, the reason I don't use namespace standard is because like many people did say me in big projects, it's not recommended to use that to avoid like name clashing. For example, some other libraries might consist of console output, and like if they might get confused, or like they might clash names on which console output do we need to use. So using standard console output keeps it clear and more readable. After your imports, honestly, I used to use namespace, but then later people were like, don't use it. Okay, I'm going to be adding another standard vector. Okay, this vector is going to be having a pair of ankle braces of standard string. Okay, my standard string is going to be called, let's go with mages. I'll add equal to, let's go with a few mages. Maybe Control Z. There we go. Let me add a few mages names. So the first name could be Fire Mage, second Ice Mage, third Shadow Mage. So let's go with Fire Mage, and then Ice Mage, and lastly Shadow Mage. Shadow Mage, what are you working on? Honestly, this is like a programming for 250 series, or my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general which consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it. So this Python for, actually the C++ for 100 series is like indented inside of my program for 250 series. That said, I was done with my Python for 100 series like 11 days ago, where I did make a game using Python. I didn't make that using PyCharm, but I wanted to make a more professional game this time because I do have like 250 days, almost more than double the time I had for Python. So I am trying to like learn C++ because I heard this is like the best language for making games. Okay, with that said, next up I gotta add some decision logic. So if weapons is not empty and its first weapon is sword, okay, so let's add a if statement, a pair of parentheses. So if my weapons is not empty, so let's go with not. So I'll go with the not logical operator. My weapons is vector dot the empty function. What this basically means is if my weapon is not empty. Did you take any courses? Honestly, I haven't taken any courses. I did like learn using ChatGPT/Sensei mostly. Like I would say about 95% I use ChatGPT/Sensei to learn, and like 5% watching YouTube tutorials. I just watch like get me started on like how to install PyCharm, how to install VS Code, what are the basics, what are print statements in Python, and like what are console outputs in C++. And I do appreciate you guys so much because like so many of you guys helped me understand what a console output was, what is like the insertion operator on my first ever stream on my C++, because I was real confused, guys. You guys like helped me set my terminal up as well. Okay, if my weapons is not empty and my first weapon is equal to sword, my first weapon is sword. So to find if my first weapon is a sword, I could go with a boolean variable here. I'll go ahead and create a boolean variable and say first weapon sword. I'll set that equal to false because I don't know if my first weapon is a sword. Okay, I spelled false wrong. Yo man, this is not how you start making a game engine. Honestly, I'm not like working on my game engine just yet because this is like my day. I forgot what day was it. Was it like day 6? I did write it on my screen. Okay, this is currently like day 7, so like I am just learning the basics of C++, and eventually after my 100 days I might get a good idea on like how C++ works. Then I'll start working with game engines. I learned a few things, but I can never improve. Honestly, the only thing that I did to like improve was keep on doing questions, because back when I started Python I used to do like 50 questions per topic, and then I used to move on to the next topic. So like I prefer doing a lot of repetition, so it becomes a muscle memory and I can just like know everything on instinct what I need to do. That said, okay, first I create this variable and then let's go with a for loop. So for, I'm going to be iterating over my weapons as vectors. So for every, let's say, integer of weapon in my vector of weapons, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add an if statement here. Did I spell weapons correct? It's W-E-A-P-O-N-S. Okay, I'm pretty sure I spelled weapons correct. For every integer of weapons in my vector of weapons. Huh. I added a semicolon there. Maybe I removed this. Okay, for every integer weapon in my vector of weapons. Okay. For every integer weapons. Guys, did I do something wrong there? I'm pretty sure this part is correct. Okay, maybe I'll just go ahead and add a if statement now. If a pair of parentheses, Actually, yeah, if a pair of parentheses, let's see. I feel this part is correct. Why does it say, why does it show like a red underline? Oh, okay. This is a standard string. There we go, guys. My basics, guys. Gotta like work more on that. Okay, so if my, let's say weapon equals to sword, equals to the string sword, okay, then I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then type my first weapon sword. I'll set that equal to true. Weapons are a string. Honestly, yeah, guys, I do need to pay more attention in my code. That's the reason I said practice is like practice makes perfect. Because like the more questions I do like with strings and integers, because I've just been working with like integer mostly, so I'll say for like a tweak and going with strings. Okay, so my muscle memory did like type that to an integer by default. That said, this converts my false to true if a sort does exist. So outside my for loop, I'll go with the if statement now, add a pair of parentheses, and then let's see. Okay, so if weapons is not empty, so I'll go with not. My weapons is vector dot the empty function. If my weapons is not empty and the first weapon is sword, I'll go with and my first weapon, so I'll go with weapons dot the front function. Okay, weapons dot front. Okay, and my first weapon is sword. So if my weapons dot empty, so if my weapons is not empty, and I do I'm pretty sure I don't need to end this with a semicolon because I added a semicolon there. Okay, and my weapons dot front equals to first weapon. Actually, and my weapons dot front equals to sword. I don't think I need the while loop in this case. Like looking at it, I mean the for loop. Okay, I could just do this. Actually, that would work as well. Okay, and my first weapon is sword, and then inside my this if statement, I'm going to be adding a nested if statement. If mages.back, if my mages.back equals to shadow mage, and my weapons.size is greater than 4, I print warrior and darkness ready. Okay, so if I'll go to pair of parentheses, if my mages is vector.back. Basically, the dot back gives me access to shadow mage, which is the last element inside of my vector. If mages.back equals to shadow mage, okay, there we go. If mages.back equals to shadow mage, and weapons.size, my weapons is vector size is greater than or equal to 4. Let's go with an and my weapons is vector dot the size function, my weapons is size, okay, is greater than 4. I'll go this greater than or equal to 4. I'm going to be adding an insertion, actually a pair of curly braces, and going with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like warrior and darkness ready. Okay, perfect, with an exclamation. Then I'll go with another insertion operator of a / new line. Alright, perfect. Next up, I gotta go with an else if. Else if my mages.size, my mages' vector size is less than 2, or my weapon's capacity is greater than my mages' capacity, I'm going to be printing imbalanced party. So, I'll go with an else if here. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a else if, a pair of parentheses, if my mages.size. So, I'll go with my mages vector dot the size function, okay, is less than 2, or I'll go with the 2 pipelines or 2 bars, I forgot what that's called, or my weapons is vector dot capacity dot the capacity function is greater than is greater than my mages vector dot the capacity function. Okay, if my weapons capacity is greater than my mages capacity, I print something. So I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be saying something like imbalanced party. Okay, perfect. And then I will add another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Alright, next up, I gotta add an else clause that says mixed party formation. So after my else if, I'll go ahead and add a else clause with a pair of curly braces. I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like mixed party formation. Okay, and then I will be adding another insertion operator with a / new line ending with a semicolon. That said, outside of my first if statement, I'm going to be adding an else clause. Okay, this else clause is going to be having a few nested if statements as well. So I'll go with if my weapons' vector contains dagger and my mage's vector does not contain ice mage, I print assassin team ready. So I'll go with an if statement with a pair of curly braces. So if my weapons is container, so if my weapons, okay, if my weapons contains of dagger, so if my weapons, if my weapon contains a dagger, for this I'm pretty sure I might need a boolean variable, something like, let's go with a boolean contains dagger. I'll set that equal to false because I don't know if it contains a dagger yet or not. Now let me go ahead and iterate over my weapons as vectors. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every standard string of weapon in my container of weapons, I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let me go ahead and check something. I'll go with the if statement. If a pair of parentheses. Okay, if my weapon equals to dagger. Okay, so I'll go with dagger. Okay, if my weapons is dagger and mages does not contain ice mage. Okay, I will be doing something here. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and set my contains dagger variable, boolean variable, to be equal to true. And then outside my if statement, I'll add another if statement that checks if my mage's vector consists of ice mage. So actually that is my mage's vector, so I might need another for loop for that. So I'll go with another for loop. So for every standard string of, let's say, mage in my vector of mages okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let me go ahead and add an if statement. Now if a pair of parentheses, if my mage equals to ice mage, okay, if my mage's vector consists of ice mage, I'll go with a pair of curly parentheses outside my this. There we go. And then I'm going to be doing something. Let's see. I'm going to be converting. Let me go ahead and create another boolean variable here that says something like contains ice mage. I'll set that equal to false because I don't know if it contains ice mage yet. Okay, I'm going to be going with my contains ice mage. I'll set that equal to true. Okay, perfect. Now inside of my if statement, okay, that is like an else clause. Okay, I could add these else clause inside of my actual initial else clause. So let me delete all those. And then inside of my initial else clause, I will be adding all these. So these boolean variables and everything. Okay, I think they should be like indented. Although I did hear like many of you guys did say me C++ doesn't care of indentations. Okay, so if weapons contains of dagger, so let me go with if contains dagger. Okay, if my contains dagger variable, and let's go with an and logical operator. My contains ice mage variable. If both these conditions are true, I'm going to be displaying a standard console output. So I'll go with a pair of curly braces, then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, this is going to be saying something like, let's see, assassin team ready. So ASSASSIN, assassin team ready with an exclamation. And then I'll go with an insertion operator of a / new line. Okay, and then I'll end that with a semicolon. Alright, and then I add an else if inside of my initial else clause. So I'll go with an else if, add a pair of parentheses, maybe go with some space here so it looks a little good. There we go. Okay, so for my else if my mage's vector's size is either greater than or equal to 3, and my weapons' vector dot back, my last element inside of my weapons' vector is staff, print mage overload. Okay, So I'll go with if my mage's is size. So if my mage's vector dot the size function is greater than or equal to 3, and my weapons is vector dot the back function, the last element of my weapons is vector, equals to staff. Okay, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces here. Okay, and there we go. I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like magic overload. Magic. There we go. Actually, overload, not load. There we go. Okay, and then I'll go with another insertion operator. This is going to be a / new line. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Okay, there we go. Okay. Alright, perfect. Lastly, I'll add an else clause that says undefined party. So, under my else if, I'll go with an else clause with a pair of curly braces. This is going to be having a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be saying undefined party. Okay, with an exclamation. I will be adding another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. That's basically it for condition logic. After that, the instruction number 3 says after the condition logic, decision logic, insert axe into the weapons as vector at index 2. So let's do that. So outside my condition logic, magic number overload. Magic, I could add magic number. Okay, there we go, magic number overload. Okay, perfect. And then insert ice into my weapons. So I'll go with my weapons as vector. Okay, dot the insert function. Howling all jade. Is that how you pronounce the name? Guys, I'm real bad with pronouncing names. It's Olgare. Okay, guys, I should like work more with my names. So I'll go with weapons as vector dot insert. I'm going to be inserting axe. So inside of my weapons as vector dot begin, I want to insert axe at index of 2. So I'll go with begin. This is going to be index of 0. I am going to be increasing that by 2, and I want to insert axe. Okay, perfect. I will be ending that with a semicolon. And then erase the first mage from the vector of mages. So I could go with my mages as vector. So I'll go with mages dot the erase function. I want to erase something from my mages vector. So mages dot begin. I want to erase the first ever element, which is at index 0. There we go. And then push back lightning mage into the mages vector. So let me go ahead and add a mages dot the push underscore back. The push underscore back basically adds an element to the end of my vector. This is going to be lightning mage. Sorry man, no, I meant to use constants. Give your number meanings. Oh, I see, it was a joke. Okay, my bad guys. I should actually start improving my humor because I feel I make my streams way too boring. I should start cracking jokes. Okay, I do know a knock joke, but then that's going to be real bad. Okay, lastly, print the updated list. To print my updated list, I'm going to be iterating over my vectors. So I'll go with for. Let me first iterate over my weapons vector. So for every standard string of, let's say, weapon, for every standard string of weapon in my vector of weapons. Okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then have a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like weapons. Lol, you're all good, man. Honestly, guys, okay, this is going to be my weapons. There we go. Okay, I could do that. And then I'll add another insertion operator of a / new line with a semicolon. And then let me go and add another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my weapons. And my weapon, there we go. Another insertion operator of a space. My weapons are going to be divided with a space. I will end that with a semicolon. And outside my for loop, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Okay, perfect. Next up, let me iterate / loop over my mages. So I'll go with for every standard string of mage in my vector of mages, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator of mages exclamation with an insertion operator of / new line. Okay, And then I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of my mage, okay, with another insertion operator of a space, with a semicolon. I am going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard new line to get a new line, actually end line to get a new line. There we go. Okay, lastly, let me go ahead and return 0 with a semicolon. If I were to hit Ctrl S, save the command, and if I run the code, okay, it prints warriors and darkness ready weapons. These are my weapons: sword weapon, bow weapon, axe weapon, staff weapon, and then dagger, mages. Okay, so under my mages, it goes with ice mage, okay, shadow mage, and lightning mage. Perfect. Okay, let me go with Control A, Control C. Good. Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Your console output with an insertion operator. That's the output operator. Oh yeah, honestly, yeah, insertion. Oh yeah, okay. So I didn't know about that because somebody did say me C out basically means console output, and on the other hand C in means console input. And instead of an insertion operator of two less than signs, we use an extraction operator which is two greater than signs. And I was just gonna say that to Sensei because I do want to do a few questions that includes getting user input. Let me say, Sensei, can we do more questions of this? Actually, on this level, it's perfect. Not too hard, not too easy. ... Also, can we add a user input logic as well? Question mark. Because I don't want to get rusty there, guys, because it's been like 3 streams since I added a user input. Let me just hydrate my lips real quick. Yes, finally. You want to mix numbers? Okay, you want to mix user inputs with strings, vectors, and logic. Let's make let me just cancel that. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's make this next one just right. RPG party plus player decisions. Question 7. User input plus vector and logic. Create these vectors. Okay, I don't want Sensei to say me what vectors to create. I want it to be verbal. Okay, I think that its majority is verbal. Okay, so create these vectors. So we create a vector which just consists of strings called heroes. With these heroes, we create another vector, okay, which only consists of strings called potions that consists of these potions. Ask the user to add a hero and a potion to the party, then add them to the end of their respective vectors, okay. Decision logic. If heroes.front is knight and potions.back is mana, print frontline ready. Else if heroes.back is rogue or potions.front is health, print flexible strategy. Hi bro, how are you doing the primal code? I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, let's see. Else print unbalanced party, and then additional tasks. Insert wizard and hero at index of 1, erase the first potion from potions, print the full updated list with labels, print the size and capacity of both vectors. Requirements, use okay, use these functions. Alright, perfect. Let me get Sensei slash ChatGPT there. Let me go ahead, do Control A, delete the whole thing. Let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. I am going to be including IO stream. Okay, maybe I fixed my include spelling. There we go. And then let me go ahead and include vector as well. I'll include vector, and basically IO stream is like the eyes and ears of our program. It checks if we want to display an output or if we want to extract an input. With that said, I am going to be typecasting my main function to an integer. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces, maybe go with a bunch of spaces. And then let me go ahead and create vectors. So what all vectors do I need to create? First vector is going to be for my heroes, which only consists of strings. So I'll go ahead and create a standard vector, which only consists of standard strings. Okay, actually I think this is going to be string. Okay, my vector is going to be called heroes. I'll set that equal to a pair of curly braces. Okay, what all heroes do I need? I needed knight, archer, and vogue. So let's go with knight, archer. Have you learned pointers yet? Honestly, in Python, I have learned about mouse pointers, but I just learned a few functions related to the mouse pointer. So if my, mouse, if my right mouse pointer or left mouse pointer is clicked, but I haven't started that on C++. I might actually start that real soon. Okay, so knight, archer, and guys, I do need to probably get back more on like Python, because I do want to make a tutorial on the game that I made for the 100 Days series. Okay, with that said, I can get rusty on Python as well. I will go with rogue, and then I'll be ending my container with a semicolon, and then let's see. Next up, I'll go ahead and create another standard vector. So I'll go with a standard vector. Okay, which consists of standard strings. So I'll go with standard vector with a pair of ankle braces, which is going to be consisting of standard string. Okay, my vector is going to be called potions. So I'll go with potions. I'll set that equal to a pair of curly braces, and then let's see. Okay, I'll be adding a few potions. So what other potions do I need? I need one for health, one for mana, and one for stamina. So I'll go with health. Okay, and then one for mana and one for stamina. Okay, perfect. I will be ending my vector with a with a semicolon. And then the next task, ask the user to add a hero and add a potion to the party. Enter new hero and a new potion. Okay. For that, I might have to create a few variables. So let me go ahead and create a variable right up here. This variable is going to be a standard string. So I'll create a variable and typecast it to the string. This is going to be called hero. Okay, I'll set that to be hero. He doesn't mean mouse pointers, he means pointers to a memory address. Honestly, I haven't started that. I might actually start that, because I did hear many people talk about that, although I've never worked on that. Okay, standard string hero. Is this how we create a... Okay, I do go with a colon. Isn't this how we create a vector? Okay, standard string. Okay, I mean, isn't that how we create a variable? So I create a variable of hero. Okay, and then I create another variable for potions. So I'll go with standard string of potion. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how we create variables. Alright, next up, then add them to the end of the respective vectors using pushback. Okay, so to add them, I could go with my heroes.vector. So I'll go with heroes.push_back function. I want to push back something inside of my heroes vector. I want to push back my hero. Okay, and then I'm going to be ending that with a semicolon. And let's go with my potions as well. So I'll go with potions. My potions is vector.push_back function. I want to push back my potion variable. Okay, although I feel like I should ask the user for input. Ask the user to add a hero and a potion. So, okay, order of operations does matter. So before I push it back, I might go with a standard console input this time with an extraction operator. I'm going to be extracting something. Honestly, before I extract something, I could ask my heroes. So I could go with the standard output first. Okay, I'll go with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something like... let's say enter new hero. Okay, and then let me go ahead and add a semicolon and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. This is going to be my hero variable. Okay, perfect. I will be ending that with a semicolon as well. And then let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator and say enter new potion. So I'll go with enter new potion. Okay, and then I'll end that with a semicolon, and right after that I'll add a standard console input, so cin, with an extraction operator of... this is going to be my potion variable. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. Maybe I remove these extra spaces from here. Alright, perfect, and then I append those things inside of my vector. Alright, what do I do after appending? And then add them to the respective vectors. Next up is decision logic. If my hero's front is knight and my potion's back is mana, print front line. So I gotta check if my first element of my hero, so I'll go with if, a pair of parentheses. So if my hero's is vector dot the front function, this gives me access to the first ever element in my function. If that is equal to knight, okay, And my potions dot back, my potions is vectors, last element is mana. Let's go with an AND logical operator, and my potions dot back, my last element equals to mana. Okay. I'm going to be printing frontline ready, so I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output. So a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like frontline ready exclamation. Okay, perfect. And then I am going to be adding another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I add a else if my heroes dot back, my heroes is vectors, last element is rogue, or my potions dot front, my potions is vectors, first element is health, print flexible strategy. Okay, so I'll go with an else if now. Else if a pair of parentheses, my heroes dot back, my heroes is vector dot the back function is rogue is equal to rogue. Okay, or let me go with 2 bars or a pipeline. I forgot what that is called. Or my potions is vector, my potions dot front. Okay, my potions first element, okay, is equal to health. There we go. I'll add a pair of curly braces. Maybe go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something. Did I like mess something up here? If my heroes dot back equals to rogue, or my potions dot front equals to health. I'm pretty sure I didn't mess anything up here. My heroes is vector. I spelled heroes wrong. There we go. Okay, I'm going to be adding a standard console output that says flexible. Is that how you spell flexible? Strategy. STRATEGY. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding another insertion operator of a / new line. And then I add a else clause that prints unbalanced parties. So I'll go with an else clause with a pair of curly braces. I am going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like unbalanced party. There we go, exclamation. I am going to be adding a insertion operator with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, with that said, I do have for my step 4 of my instruction, there are a few additional tasks. Insert wizard into the heroes vector at index 1, so let's do that. Okay, so insert wizard. So I'll go with my heroes as vector dot the insert function. I want to insert wizard at index 1. So I'll go with my heroes as vector again. So heroes dot the begin function. This gives me access to the index 0, the first element of my vector, but I want index 1, so I will be increasing that by 1, and I want to insert wizard. There we go. Okay, and then let's see, I'll end that with a semicolon. The next up, erase the first potion from potions. So to do that, I'll go with heroes dot the erase function. Since I want to erase the first element of my potions, honestly, this should be potions. Okay, my potions is vector. Okay, my potions is vector. There we go. Dot begin. Since I want to erase the first element, I am going to be just leaving it to begin. The first element is index 0. The dot begin function gives me access to the index 0. Next up, print the full updated list with labels. So to print it, I am going to be I'm going to be iterating / looping over my vectors. So I'll go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every standard string of, I don't know, maybe weapons first or hero first. For every standard string of hero in my vector of heroes, okay, it says print the full updated list with labels. Okay, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like, I don't know, 2 hyphens, heroes, 2 more hyphens. And then with an insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. I am going to be adding another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be having my hero with another insertion operator of an empty space. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Outside my for loop, I'll go with a standard. Outside my for loop, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. This gives me access to a new line. Next up, let me go ahead and iterate over my potions. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every standard string of potion in my vector of potions. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like, I don't know, 2 hyphens, potions, 2 more hyphens, with an insertion operator of a / new line. I will be ending that with a semicolon, and then I'll go to the new line and type standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my potion with another insertion operator of an empty space. I am going to be ending that with a semicolon. And then let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Standard 2 colons end line. Okay, perfect. Print the size and capacity of both vectors. Okay, so I do need to print the standard capacity and size of both vectors. Okay, both vectors. So to do that, I could go with a standard console output. Howdy Novera, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be, let's see. Since I want to get the size, I could go with something like hero size. I'll go with a string that says hero size. Okay, and then another insertion operator. This is going to be my heroes' vector dot the size function. Do you take showers? I'm curious. Honestly, I do take showers, but actually I did forget to take. It's not like I forgot to take. I just didn't take a shower today since like I took a shower yesterday night before sleeping, and today morning I had to wake up really soon, study because I had an exam. Actually, I had an exam yesterday. I had to study for my new chapter, then go to exam. I just came from my college like I think about 2 hours ago, and then I started streaming. Okay, with that said, I'll go with another insertion operator of something like an empty space. Okay, actually a / new line. Okay, that is for my heroes' size. Next up, I'll go with my heroes' capacity. I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like hero capacity. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator. Okay, this is going to be my heroes.the capacity function with another insertion operator of a / new line. I will be ending that with a semicolon. Okay, now that I printed this, I printed a size and a capacity for my hero. Let me do the same thing for my potion. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be my potion size. Okay, I could go with plurals like heroes, potions. Okay, so my potions is size, and then I'll add an insertion operator of my potions is vector dot. What's the easiest programming language? Honestly, I would recommend you guys to start with Python because I'm pretty sure if I like first started learning C++, many people did do that. They're like actually geniuses. But if I started with like C++, I would have taken longer than 100 days to get used to the syntaxes and like how programming works. I started with Python, so I got a brief idea on how for loops works, while loops works, nesting works, output works, input works, and then when I moved on to C++, I just had to get used to the syntaxes. The logic is mostly the same. What time do you usually go live? Honestly, I usually go live like at 2 o'clock of the US time, which is like 2 hours because I've been streaming for like 1 hour and 53 minutes, so 2 hours from now. Although tomorrow on the weekends, I do go live sooner because like I don't have college or anything, so I can like stream sooner and everything. So weekends, I do go live a bit sooner. Okay, although you guys could like join my Discord server, I do mention everyone when I go live, and like to join the Discord server, you guys could just type exclamation Discord in the chat. I could like do that. I'll go with exclamation Discord. Okay, HTML is the hardest. Honestly, I actually never tried HTML. I might actually try HTML. Okay, so I'll go with the / my heroes dot capacity function. Actually, I'll first go with size. There we go. First stream I subscribed. I appreciate you so much, Ziwi. Is that how you pronounce the name, guys? I don't know how to pronounce name properly. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator. This is going to be a / new line. And then let me go ahead and add another standard console output for the capacity of my potions. So I'll go with my potions dot capacity, or just potions capacity. Okay, with an insertion operator of my potions is vector dot the capacity function. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding another insertion operator / new line. Okay, and that's like basically it, right? Is there any other instructions? Okay, that's pretty much it. Lastly, let me go ahead and return 0. Okay, with a semicolon. If I would hit Control S to save the code and run the command, what you making, boy? Honestly, I did start like a programming for 258 series where my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general that consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it, or like AI logic in it. Although before this 250 days, like programming for 250 days series, I did have another series called Python for 100 days where I did make a game using Python. Although the game using I did use like Pygames, but I thought Pygames didn't give me like I couldn't make a detailed game, so that's the reason I'm learning C++ because I heard C++ is like meant for actually making games. Um, what you're trying to make? Honestly, I'm just trying to learn the basics of C++ for my programming for 250 series, or my goal by the end of this series is to make a game in general that consists of AI logic. I should maybe write that somewhere. Okay, so it says enter a hero. I don't know. I'll go with something like, what hero should I add, guys? I don't know. Maybe Hulk. I don't know if Hulk is considered a hero, guys. I don't watch anything, honestly. Okay, enter a potion. I'll go with something like buff potion. Oh my gosh. Okay. So it says heroes. So we have a knight. Okay, we have knight, we have wizard, we have archer, we have rogue, Hulk. Okay, and then for potions, we have mana potion, we have stamina potion, we have a buff potion. Our hero size is 5, hero capacity is 6, potion size is 3, potion capacity is 6. Okay, perfect. Let me go with the control C, copy that, give sensei/ChatGPT here, paste it, go with shift enter, and say, Sensei, I feel like I'm getting a gist of how this works. ... Guys, I should start working with while loops as well. Actually, I do think that the syntax are going to be different here from Python when it comes to while loop. Okay, hell yeah! Finally, look at that. You're actually getting it. A few quick sensei pointers. Watch your typos. You wrote night instead of night, and health instead of health. This will break your logic check. Your if, else if, and else logic is solid now. Using .front, .back, .pushback, .insert, .erase, .size, .capacity, you're actually using everything I asked for. Loops printing the vector, perfect, could be cleaner. Okay, if you print label once, okay, could be cleaner if you print the label once instead of every iteration, but that's a minor style thing. Overall, you're starting to think like a C++ developer, mixing vectors, user inputs, and conditional logic. I'm proud. If you want, I can throw an even harder RPG style stream question. Next, multiple heroes, multiple items, nested logics, and even checks for special combos. Honestly, yes. Let me just say, honestly, yes, Sensei. Okay, guys, let's do the harder question. What are you creating, sir? Honestly, this is like a programming for 250 series. So my C++ for 100 series is like indented inside of my programming for a 250 series, where my goal by the end of my series is to make a game in general which consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it. That said, I do want to master C++ first because I heard that is the game people use to like make games in general. So I thought it'd be pretty good. Man, just talk slowly and without any accent you trying to make. Don't try to overdo anything. Honestly, many people do say me that I fake my accent. I'm like, guys, this is like the only accent I actually know. They're like, I should talk in an Indian accent. I'm like, I don't want like disrespect anybody like talking like fake an accent, because I feel like I might fake the accent wrong if I like talk in an Indian accent. That said, I am pretty fluent in in my accent, although I would like try to learn different accents, guys, because I was trying to learn Spanish. So while learning Spanish, I wondered like talks like Mexicans, guys. I try avoiding this kind of conversation because I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. Although when people usually say me like I fake my accent, I'm like, I talk for hours. It's impossible to like fake your accent if you like talk for hours. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, yes, finally. Alright, listen up, Vivek. This one's gonna push your brains to the limit, but I know you're ready. Here's the instructional challenge. No hints, no operators. Use your brains. RPG Party Management Challenge. Create 3 vectors, heroes, string. Okay, so we create 3 vectors. The first vector is gonna be called heroes. strings, okay, at least 4 names, weapons, string, at least 4 items, potions, at least 3 items. Ask the user to add 1 hero, 1 weapon, and 1 potion. Check nested conditions. If the first hero is knight and the last weapon is sword, if potion dot size is greater than or equal to 3, print frontline ready. Else print frontline weak. Else if the last hero is rogue or the first potion is mana, print stealth mission ready. Else print unbalanced party. You guys, let me know if like that speed was good, because like I can try slowing down. Because usually I wasn't like used to talking a lot until I started streaming. That said, I used to talk real quick. So let me try slowing down. Check for special combos. Loop through vectors. If heroes contains wizard and weapons contain staff, print magic. Okay, magic team activated. If potions contains elixir and elixir found, mutate the vectors. Insert archer into the heroes at index 1. Remove the first weapon. Add both to the end of the weapons. Print all vectors showing. Label once per vector. Elements separated by space. Okay, so that is like in the for loop. Print size and capacity of each vector. Final check. If any vector has size which is greater than 6, clear it and print vector cleared. Else print party intact. What is this? Honestly, this is like me learning C++ for 100 days, and I am just learning the basics of C++. So the C++ for 100 day series is like indented inside of my programming for 250 day series. Well, my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general that consists of AI logic / artificial intelligence logic in it. Okay, with that said, let me go ahead and get Sensei / ChatGPT there, go with the controller, delete the whole thing. Okay, let me start off by including IO stream. So let me include a pair of ankle braces IO stream. Okay, and then let me go ahead. But why stream it? Honestly, the reason I stream it, it's like for 2 reasons. First, when I was doing my Python for 100 day series, I stream to like not get distracted, but now the reason I stream is because many people they like actually coding with me, and some of you guys even say me to stream horizontally. And guys, I am actually streaming vertically and horizontally at the same time. So if you guys go to my channel, there is a horizontal stream if you guys want to code with me. So the reason I do stream it is because people like to code with me, and even if they ask questions, and later in the future I could like look back to my streams and everything. Your voice is so annoying, bro. Guys, I can't control it. This is like it's a voice. That fake. Guys, many people keep saying it's fake accent. I'm like, you cannot fake accent if you talk for hours. But I appreciate you joining the stream, Bamboo. I'll catch you in the next stream, maybe. Okay, let me go ahead and lower and include vector as well. Okay, next up, let me start off by typecasting my main function to an integer by typing integer main, add a pair of curly braces, maybe add a bunch of spaces. And then let me go ahead and create a few vectors. So what all vectors do I need? Let's see. I'm going to be needing 3 vectors. All 3 are going to be consisting of only strings. The first vector is going to be called heroes, so I could go with something like a standard vector, which with a pair of ankle braces. This consists of just strings, so I'll go with standard string. Okay, this vector is going to be called something like heroes. Oh, I spelled heroes wrong before. There we go. I'll set that equal to a pair of curly braces. Let me add a few heroes. Now your voice is not annoying. I appreciate you, Mohan. Is that how you pronounce the name, guys? I'm so bad at pronunciations. Although I do appreciate you guys. I get this like so much from everyone. They're like, I keep faking my accent. I'm like, this is the only accent I know. Maybe I can speak in a little Italian accent, but then it's like, I don't like disrespecting anybody by speaking different accents that I'm not fluent at. Although, let me go ahead and add a few heroes. So I don't know what all heroes can add. Maybe a knight. Okay, knight. I don't know what all heroes. Mage. Okay, I could go with rogue. Okay, I needed 4 heroes. 1 more. Archer. Okay, there we go. Okay, I will be ending my container with a semicolon, and then let me go ahead and another standard vector, which consists of, let's say, a standard string. This vector is going to be called weapons, so I'll go with weapons. Okay, I'll set that equal to a pair of curly braces. Okay, and let me add a few weapons. So I need 4 weapons. The first could be something like a sword. The second one could be a shield considered a weapon. I think it is. Then let me go ahead and add something like a dagger. Okay, maybe a kunai. it's completely good to speak in your actual accent, not like your faking accent. Honestly, yeah, I do get it. I like keep saying it to a lot of people. It's like it's impossible to fake your accent when you like talk for hours because like eventually your actual accent would come out. Okay, good night. Okay, I am going to be ending this with a semicolon, and then let me go ahead and create another vector, another standard vector. Okay, with a pair of ankle braces. This is going to be a standard string. Okay, this vector is going to be called potions. Okay, I will be setting that equal to a pair of curly braces. Let me add a few potions. Okay, what are potions? I could go with something like a healing potion, so I'll go with healing potion. I could just add heal, and then this is going to be buff. I need 3 potions. This is buff, and then maybe a stamina. Okay, there we go. I will be ending that with a semicolon as well. And then ask the user to add 1 hero, 1 weapon, and 1 potion. So, before I ask the hero to add 1 hero, 1 weapon, and 1 potion, I'll create a few variables. So I'll go with a standard string of, let's say, why are you organizing so vaguely? Is this vague, guys? I thought, does this look vague, guys? Okay, so I did create 3 vectors. I should probably ask Sensei if it's vague. Okay, with that said, I'll go ahead and create a standard string which is going to be called hero. I'll set that, actually I'll end that with a semicolon. And then let me go ahead and add another standard string. This is going to be something like weapon. I'll end that with a semicolon as well. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add another standard string. Standard string. This is going to be called potion. I'll end that with a semicolon as well. Next up, let's go ahead and ask the user to fill one each. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be saying something like enter a hero. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. Actually, yeah, I'll end that with a semicolon. And then I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion. Actually, I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I'm going to be extracting my hero. Okay, the value for my hero variable. Okay, and then I'll add an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting... Actually, I might not insert anything. I'll just end it with a semicolon. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and ask the user for something else. So I'll go with a standard console output. What are you making plus why not using an array instead of vectors? Honestly, I'm just trying to understand the basics of C++ because I did start a new series called Programming for 250 Days. This is currently the day, I forgot what day was it of my learning C++ for 100 days. Okay, this is technically day 7 out of 100 of my C++ for 100 days, which is indented inside of my Programming for 100 Days series. This is currently day 11 out of 250. And my goal by the end of the series is to make a game in general which consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it. That said, I did have a Python for 100 Days series where I made a game using PyGames. Although I want to make something more detailed, so I thought C++ would help me in that. Okay, next up I'll go ahead and say enter a weapon. Smart pointer. Someone else actually did say me about the pointer, but then I didn't know what it means. I should actually ask Sensei. Maybe in my next stream I could like work with pointers or something. Okay, although I am trying to get used to the syntax of C++ because I am used to like the syntaxes of Python where like I know how to use while loops and everything. Although the syntax in C++ is a bit different, but the logic seems kind of same. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. Cool, good luck though. I appreciate you. Mohand, is that how you pronounce the name, guys? Do you mean by AI NPCs or LLMS? I felt like NPCs who like chase you and everything, for example, and NPCs with a mind of their own, but I've honestly never heard of LLMS. What does that mean, honestly? Okay, I'll go with the standard console input of my weapon. Alright, I'll end that with a semicolon, and then let me go ahead and add another console output, a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like enter a potion. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding a semicolon. Let me go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator of my potion variable. There we go. LLMS chat GPT lol. Okay guys, I'm not that advanced to like make actual chatbots, but I did want to like actually make a chatbot. Maybe is that like pretty hard to make a AI chatbot? Because after my 250 day series, I could like make another 500 day series, maybe, guys. Spoiler alerts, where I make a chatbot. Although I don't know much, guys. Large language model, I was confused when you said AI. By AI, I mean like an NPC that like follows a player, has a mind of its own. That said, if you store in is that multi-dimensional array and use smart pointers to pool, it will be more modular in the future. Oh, I see. Did you learn coding from college or informal? Honestly, the only way I did learn coding, I'd say it's like 95% from ChatGPT slash Sensei and like 5% from YouTube tutorials. When I like started coding, I did watch like for the first 20 days, like when I was doing my Python for 100 series, I spent like 20 days learning the basics of Python. Then I moved on to ChatGPT slash Sensei for doing a lot of practice questions because I thought doing more questions is what actually helped me improve. That said, for my programming for 250 day series slash C++ for 100 day series, I did spend like let's say, I think honestly I didn't spend any time actually to download VS Code. I did use YouTube tutorials, but most of you guys helped me on stream to like actually set my terminal up and everything. So I do appreciate you guys. It's a large language model. Oh, I see. Okay, guys, I feel I spoke way too much. I should have worked a bit more. Okay, next up, the instruction 2 says ask the user to add one hero, one weapon, and one potion. Did that, okay. And then check nested conditions. If the first hero is knight and the last weapon is sword, LLMS takes a lot of time to make, so you need to learn things like machine learning, data science, a lot of math. That actually sounds pretty fun. I might do it. Bro, be brief. Okay, honestly, yeah, I do like try explaining stuff in detail, but I should like go a little slower. Okay, if the first hero is a knight, so let's go ahead and add a if pair of parentheses. Okay, so if, let's go with a pair of parentheses. So I'll go with my heroes as vector. If my heroes is vector dot the front function, this basically gives me the first element of my vector. If my heroes dot front is equal to, let's say, knight. Excuse me, guys. And the last weapon is sword. Let's go with an AND logical operator. And my weapons is vector dot the back function. The back function gives me access to the last element of my vector. Equals to sword. Okay. I'm going to be adding a nested if statement. So let's go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. I'll add a nested if statement with a pair of parentheses. This is going to be saying if my potion dot size, or it's going to be checking if my potions vector size is greater than or equal to 3. I print frontline ready. So I'll go with my potions as vector. Okay, my potions as vector dot the size function. Okay, if that is greater than or equal to 3, I'm going to be displaying a standard console output. So I'll go with std : console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I'm going to be printing frontline ready. So I'll go with frontline ready. Okay, perfect. This is going to be inside a pair of double quotes. You could do it. It's not impossible, but you'll need a NASA PC to train the model. You can actually use an already trained model. Guys, I actually use a mini PC for my stuff. I actually do want to buy a PC eventually, maybe like later. But it does sound pretty cool, like to make an AI of my own. But I'm eventually going to get a stronger PC, guys. Okay, I'll go with an insertion operator of maybe a / new line. Okay, there we go. Okay, next up, I'll go with an else clause, else frontline weak. So I'll go with an else clause here. Cook doing coding and came to entertain. Guys, more entertaining watching someone code. That's like the most perfectest thing. Okay, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Although I do appreciate you, Ron, for sticking through the stream or joining the stream. That said, I think you should go and do something more entertaining. Okay, because sometimes when I'm like way too bored, actually way too burnt out that I almost am every single day. I don't know what I actually do. I probably like sleep or something. I don't know. I sleep to regain my memory, guys. Okay, I'll go with something like a / new line. Okay, next up, I'll go with an else if outside of my if statement, outside of my initial if statement. So I'll go with an else if. Where is Nagaland? Guys, I should check that. I don't know where it is. Definitely, you should check out the Wicked game engine with C++, hands down. Okay, I definitely look into the Wig game engine because I was gonna check a few different game engines because I was counting on Unity, guys, but somebody did just say me on stream that we can't use Unity for C++ just for C harsh. What I'm trying to do, honestly, this is like my programming for 250 days series where my learning C++ 400 days series is indented inside of my programming for 250 days series. And my goal by the end of my programming for 250 days series is to make a game in general that consists of AI logic in it, like artificial intelligence logic in it. Okay, with that said, I'll go with an Elsif. I just came. We appreciate you joining the stream. Or like, I appreciate you joining the stream, Gamblik. Is that how I pronounce the name? Gambit? Guys, I should like work more with my spellings. Okay, Elsif, the last hero is Rogue, or the first potion is Mana. Prince Stealth Mission ready. Okay, so if my last hero, so I could go with my heroes is vector dot the back function if my last hero if my last hero equals to Rogue, okay, or the first potion is Mana, I'll go with or by the whole symbol. Nagaland is in northeast. Oh, I see. Gambit, the LK is different. Oh, I see. Can you try to learn assembly? Okay, honestly, guys, I did like hear of assembly. I heard like it's the closest language to like the way machines talk. I might actually do that. That sounds real fun. Bro, do you follow William Lim, the coding goat? Honestly, I should watch different YouTubers, guys. I do not have time at all. It's like I'm either programming, either studying for my college, either eating or sleeping. You said C, but I'm seeing Python. You said C. Oh, that was my Python for 100 days series. So like, my goal by the end of that Python for 100 days series was to make a game in general. I was done with that series like 11 days ago. I started a new series where I learned programming for 250 days. This is currently day 11 of my programming for 250 days series, and my C++ for 100 days series is like indented inside of my programming for 250 days series. This is day 7 of my C++ for 100 days series. Okay, or my first potion. So I could go with my potions is vector dot back, or my actually dot front. This gives me access to the first element of my potion if that's equal to mana. Okay, I display a standard console output. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like, Stealth, how old are you, man? I'm 17 years old. My birthday is pretty soon, on like January 5th. I'm pretty excited for that. Pretty sure not going to be doing anything much in my birthday this time. Okay, I'll go with Stealth Mission ready. Maybe I might do like some fun challenges on stream. I don't know. Like every time I get a code wrong, I eat a pepper, guys. I don't know. Okay, I'll go with a / new line. Okay, this is going to be lowercase n, and then I'm going to be ending it with a semicolon. That said, I will be going with an else clause, unbalanced party. So let's go with an else clause now. Okay, else, a pair of curly braces. I'm going to go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like unbalanced party. There we go. South Indian. Honestly, I have not been to India yet, but I'm pretty excited to go there like someday in the future. Okay, let me go with an insertion operator, / new line with an semicolon. Okay, check for special symbol combos loop through vectors. If heroes contains wizard and weapons contain staff, print magic team activated. If potion contains elixir, print elixir found. Okay, now I iterate over everything. If he says else, take a shot. If he says else, take a shot. Do I need to add something else to my else clause, that means? Okay, let me iterate over my, let's see, my heroes is categories. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. For every standard string of heroes or of hero. Okay, in my container of heroes, where are you from, bro? I'm currently in the United States. Okay, which country are you from? I'm currently in the United States, guys. Okay, in heroes. Okay, for every standard string of heroes in my container of heroes, I'm gonna be doing something. Okay, if heroes contains wizard and weapons contain staff. So, I could go with something like a if statement, pair of parentheses. Let's go with if my hero equals to wizard. Okay. I'll go with a pair of curly braces here, and then add a standard console output. So a standard console output with an insertion operator. Drinking joke, not coding advice. Guys, I should learn more jokes. Like I'm awful with like humor, guys. The only humor I used to do is before I used to be like a Discord addict. I used to be like 10 hours on Discord. That's it. I used to play a lot of Roblox as well. I used to play like a game called Please Donate, where I used to like say people jokes and they used to like which one tip Robux. But I just realized how waste of time that was. Although I do appreciate that time. It used to be pretty funny. When you start learning to code, honestly, I could say I started to learn exactly 111 days ago, because I started my Python for 100 series about 111 days ago. That was the first ever time I ever started programming. Like in my Python for 100 series, the first ever video that I uploaded, that was me like 111 days ago, where I just got a random idea what would happen if I like learned to code Python and made a game in it. Because before I did think like we could make a game using any language. Later I realized that Python wasn't meant for making games. It's meant for like making AIs. The more brief, the more everyone listens. The more you brief, the more everyone listens properly. Oh, I see. Okay, so I think I should talk slowly in that case. Okay, standard console output. So I'm going to be printing something like... Okay, so if my heroes equals to wizard, I could go with something like a boolean variable. What did you build with it? Honestly, I built a game using Pygames. That's like a... I don't know what kind of game was it. I didn't actually make a specific game type, but then if you guys like check my short, like in my shorts category, I have like, I think my second last shot, like my shot where like you're gonna see the thumbnail of you when I could just like pull it out. That's like my first ever game. I showed the game that I made. So if I go to my shorts right here, then get this here. Guys, like right this short, this was the game that I made like after 100 days of Python, of learning Python. That's it. Let me go back to sudsai/ChatGPT. Okay, so I'll create a boolean variable that says contains wizard. Okay, I'll set that equal to, let's say something like true. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and create another variable for contains staff. So I'll go with a weapon. So I'll go with another boolean variable. This is gonna say something like contains weapons. Okay, I'll set that equal to false. Okay, there we go. And actually, I'll change this to false. Okay, perfect. And guys, I honestly might end the stream like probably after this question, because I do have some college homework stuff to do. I should have done that like as soon as I came. It's like due tonight. Did you use ChatGPT or were you learning from websites? Honestly, the only website or like the only source of learning was like the only place I did learn from was ChatGPT/Sensei, and maybe like some YouTube tutorials. It was 5% YouTube tutorials and like 95% practice from ChatGPT/Sensei. Okay, but that says standard console output. Okay. Instead of going with a standard console output, I'll change my contains weapon, okay, to be equal to true. Okay, learn the basics from V3 schools is free. Honestly, I might check that out after the stream if I have like time after my college stuff, because I do got something due at today 11 o'clock. Okay, and weapons consists of staff. Okay, if hero equals to wizard, consists of wizard. Let me change this to wizard. There we go. Did I spell contains wizard wrong? Let me copy that and paste it here. Okay, contains wizard equals to true, and weapons contains staff. Okay, so let me go with another for loop now. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, for every standard string of, let's say, weapon. Okay, in my container of weapons. Bro, I'm off. I have to sleep, but I like what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you so much, Gabble, for sticking through the stream. I'll catch you in the next stream. Okay, that's said. For every string of weapon in my container of weapons or in my vector of weapons, I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then let me go ahead and add a if statement. I'll go with if a pair of parentheses. I'll go with my weapon. If my weapon equals to what weapon was I looking for? Staff. If my weapon equals to staff, I will change this to staff, honestly. Okay, I did crack LeetCode, Facebook competition, and many more. That actually sounds pretty cool, Rom. I want to try so many different things. Okay, Staff, I'm going to be going with a pair of curly braces. I'll go with contains staff, a boolean variable, also that equal to true. Okay, now outside my for loop, I gotta add an if statement to check if my heroes' container consists of wizard and consists of staff. Okay, and my weapons' container consists of staff. Okay, so I'm gonna be going with a if pair of parentheses. 5 years ago, that's honestly pretty cool, guys. Okay, so I'll go with if my heroes' container. If my heroes, actually, instead of going with heroes, I'll go with contains wizard. Okay, so if contains wizard, and so I'll go with the and logical operator, and consists of staff, I'll copy consists staff, I'll paste it here. Dude, I was looking for you, I couldn't remember your channel name, glad I found you. You have inspired me to build my simulator game, thank you. I appreciate you so much, thank you. Curious is that I pronounce it, for like actually giving me the positive comment. That's what encourages me to like push stuff. I'm glad I could like motivate you guys. Okay, and then I print magic theme activated. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be saying something like magic theme activated. Bro, I gotta go bed. I have school tomorrow. I'm cooked. See ya later, bro. I appreciate you, Mahan. That means so much to me that you stuck to the stream. Make sure to get your 8 hours of sleep and sweet dreams. Okay, I'll go with something like magic theme activated. Okay, there we go. And then I'll go with another insertion operator of a / new line with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead and add another if statement that checks if potion consists of elixir. I'm going to print elixir found. So I will go with another boolean variable here that says something like, let's say, contains elixir. There we go. I'll set that equal to false because I don't know if my potions consist of elixir yet. I will go with a for loop. Maybe I'll write under this for loop. Teach Python. Honestly, I did want to like make a few Python tutorials. So maybe after the stream, once I'm done with my college assignments, I could like make a tutorial on like collision detection logic and those kind of stuff. Although I am not that good. Like I didn't like. I've been like. I mean, actually, I do think I'm pretty good with Python right now because I did like spend a lot of time in it. That said, I will be refining my skills a bit more, but I will be teaching the basics. Actually, I should make a playlist. That sounds pretty good. Because my main goal was to like teach people programming in general, like help people with programming, because I know many people do struggle with it. That's the reason I'm learning so hard, guys. It's like my dream is to be a teacher someday. Okay, I do like teaching. I do want to make different things too. Okay, if my standard string potion isn't potions, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with an if statement. If a pair of parentheses. Howdy, Turk, I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, I'll go with if my potion equals to, let's say, elixir. Okay, I'm going to be doing something. I'll go with another pair of curly parentheses. I'm going to be adding a standard console output. Before that, I'll go with my contains elixir variable here. I'll set that equal to true. And then add a semicolon to end that off. Okay, next up. If potion consists of elixir, I print elixir found. So I'll go with another if statement here. What language will you teach? Honestly, I might like start making some tutorials on Python. I won't make on like really advanced topics, but I will make like on basic topics on like how collision detection works, how to add gravity to Python, or like how to add gravity to your objects and all that stuff. That actually sounds pretty fun, guys. Okay, I'll go with if my potions. Actually, if contains elixir. Okay, if contains right here elixir, I'm going to be doing something. Okay, I'm going to be adding a pair of curly braces, a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be inserting something like elixir found. Elixir found, exclamation, and then I'll add an insertion operator of a / new line. This is going to be lowercase new, ending off with a semicolon. And then mutate the vectors, insert archer into the heroes at index of 1. Okay, so outside my if statement, so inside of my heroes' vector, I insert archer at index 1. So inside my heroes' vector, so I'll go with heroes, this is vector.the insert function, and then I'll go with my heroes' vector again. Okay, dot the begin function, this gives me access to the index 0. Since I want to add archers to index 1, I will be increasing that by 1. I'll go comma archer. Okay, perfect. And then I will be ending that with a semicolon. And then it says remove the first weapon. So I gotta remove the first weapon. I'm assuming from my weapons is a vector. So I'll go with weapons. My weapons is vector. Dot the erase function. Okay. I want to remove something from my weapons is vector. Okay, so I'll go with dot begin function. Remove the first weapon. So the dot begin this function gives me access to the first element, which is index 0. So I remove the first weapon. You should contribute to a purge project. They're starving for Python devs. Honestly, guys, I don't like consider myself an advanced dev. I consider myself a beginner at max until like I don't actually until I don't like know most of the function and everything. I can say like I do know many things in Python, but then there are still a few formulas and everything that I didn't memorize yet. Okay, once I'm pretty good with it, or I at least have like a year of experience of programming, then I might start helping out people. But for now, I'll make like basic tutorials while improving myself and teaching you guys. Okay, add bow to the end of the weapon. So I'll go with my weapons as category dot the insert. I'll go with weapons dot the end function because this is set at the end of the weapon. So I'm gonna insert something. Did I spell insert correct? Okay, so my weapons dot insert weapons dot end. I want to insert a bow. Hey, can I contact you? Honestly, yeah, you guys could like join my Discord server and mention me there. After my college stuff, I like sometimes do go to my Discord. So like, how to contact you? You guys can like type hashtag Discord on the chats. Like, let me just type it. Check your Boolean declaration for contain elixir. I think there is a mistake. Oh, is there? Let me check. Okay, and guys, you guys could like type hashtag Discord on the chat to like get the Discord this thing. Guys, okay, I appreciate you, Vic. That. Okay, guys, I should pay more attention when it comes to like adding stuff like this. Okay, why talk? I get distracted. Okay, let me add a pair of curly braces. Okay, next up, print all vectors showing Discord link expired. Is it expired? Many people like say me it's expired, but then I changed it to like never expiring. Wait, let me just copy it real quick. Okay, so I could like open the Discord. Huh. It is like loading. Let me try like adding Discord in the chat. Try this link like exclamation Discord. There we go. Did that link like expire? Okay, because my Discord is acting a little glitchy here. Okay, maybe let me try adding it, whatchamacallit, on my stream. I don't know if I logged in with my Discord here. Guys, I should like fix this thing. Okay, let's see. Print all vectors showing labels once per vector. So let me go ahead and print all vectors. So I'll go with a for loop for a pair of parentheses for every standard string of vector. For every standard string of vector in my container of vectors. Actually, for every standard string of okay, so it says print all vectors showing labels one per vector. So first I'll go with hero. For every hero in my vector of heroes, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be hero, another insertion operator, which is going to be separated by a space. Okay, next up I'll go with another for loop. Before that, I could go with like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a new line. Okay, next up I'll go with another for loop for, let's say, a pair of parentheses for every standard string. Okay, this time I could go with weapons for every standard string of weapons. Okay, for every standard string of weapon in my container of weapons still expired. Okay, let me actually copy the link from my Discord right now. Okay, honestly, my Discord is like, it just shows this black screen. It's not even opening for some reason. Okay, maybe I like cancel the whole thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just restart my whole edge. Guys, the Discord actually seems pretty bugged. I don't know why is it expired. Like, it just shows me the screen. It like doesn't show anything else. Okay, I think I will try figuring that out by next stream. That said, actually, I could like send it from my phone. Pretty sure the phone's one isn't expired. Okay, because I have the app on my phone. I don't have the app like on my mini PC or like slash my PC because. Okay, let me go there. Copy the link. Okay, and then go right here. Okay, there we go. Let me paste it in chat. Okay, that link should like work. Pretty sure that link should work, guys. Okay, so next up, let me open Sensei because I closed ChatGPT. Guys, is it just that I need to restart my PC? Like, I can't open my chats. Huh. Okay, maybe here. Guys, my ChatGPT seems a little bugged. Okay, since even if my ChatGPT is bugged, I was pretty much done with this question. So let me go with for every weapon in my container of weapons. I feel because my PC has been open for real long, guys. Okay, for every standard string, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of, let's say, of my weapon, which is going to be separated by a weapon. So I'll go with another insertion operator. Okay, there we go. And then let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a new line. I will add a semicolon. Lastly, let me go for my potion. Phone Discord link works. Okay, I'm glad it works because I'm like, I added like never expire for my Discord link, but for some reason it keeps expiring. Okay, that's it. I'll go with another for loop for a pair of parentheses, every standard string of potion. Okay, in my vector of potions, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of potion, another insertion operator of a space. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Lastly, I'm going to start off by returning 0. If I were to hit Ctrl S, save the code and run the command. Okay, it says enter a hero. I don't know, I'll enter something like, I don't know, Angel. Enter a weapon, I'll go with hammer. Enter a potion, I'll go with, I don't know, burn. Okay, unbalanced party, knight, archer, mage, archer, shield, dagger, kunai, bow. Heal, buff, stamina. Okay, perfect. Let's go with a Control C, copy that. And apparently, I cannot get my Sensei chats to open for some reason. Is that how we like open it? How do we get that? Is it just... Let me refresh my whole Chrome real quick. Okay, do they call you the kombucha coder? Honestly, guys, what does that even mean? Guys, I'm real stupid when it comes to stuff like that. Okay, there's images, there's text. How do you get your previous chats off? Am I doing it wrong? Pretty sure not. Okay, wait, let me just paste the code here. Guys, my Control V doesn't work either. I don't know what's wrong. Guys, I feel my PC is coughing or something. I'll go with Control C. Paste it. Did that work? I'll assume that worked. So let's say done with the code. Although I am planning to end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers before I leave? Question mark. Kombucha is some South Indian drink. Oh, I see. Okay, guys, I cannot even hit enter. My chat GPT / Sensei is bugged, guys. Okay, I think that is a cue that I should like end the stream here. Okay, let me go to my main camera. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I know I should have done much, but I do have a lot of college stuff that is like due today by 11 o'clock, and like currently it's like almost 5. It's 4:75 p.m. I have like 6 hours left, guys. I'm pretty sure that would be enough. That said, if you guys enjoyed the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes you smile, and subscribing is like it cheering you on top. And guys, I did start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. So if you guys enjoy my content and haven't followed me on Twitch and Kick yet, Make sure to follow me on Twitch and Kick. And if you guys haven't subscribed to me on YouTube yet, make sure to subscribe me. Make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube with the top posted notification bells turned on, and also join the Discord. The link is in the description and in the pinned comments. That said, I will try fixing the Discord link by the next stream. I apologize for the inconvenience, and well, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.